cut like a guillotine. Cut like a guillotine. Cut like a guillotine.
My name is Greg Rivera. Our company name is Mishka, out of New York. Mishka got started about in 2003 now, so it's been about 4 years. My partner Michael and I met pretty much after I moved here from Florida. Michael's from Ukraine, moved to Brooklyn when he was a little kid, grew up in Bensonhurst. The name Mishka is Russian for bear cub, so a lot of our influences, you know, kind of stems with Michael's background, and then it's also kind of mixture of like our weird we're really into like obscure pop culture, B-horror movies, like just all this kind of weird stuff. We kind of bring it all together with Mishka. My background's film. My partner's background was art and design. He kind of was like wanted to do. He had, you know, we were both like fans of like kind of like, you know, just of graphic T-shirts, things like that. And instead of like trying to work for another company, we decided to start our own because there were like different trends like in the market that we really liked, and we didn't really feel like people were doing certain things. So we wanted to kind of do something that we felt was kind of lacking. I mean, it's very classic, like we wanted to do stuff that we wanted to wear that we couldn't find out there. So we started designing like T-shirts that we wanted that nobody else was making. Well, I mean, I think like New York's kind of like where streetwear kind of came from, you know what I mean? And we're like, I mean, apart from like other influences, like, you know, if you go back to like the skate culture of the West Coast and, you know, different things like that, I mean, most of the brands I think that we're influenced by came out of New York, and, you know, it's very like, you know, New York's just such an interesting place because there's so many people here from like all different cultures and all different places that I think it's just like creativity just like spews out of it. And I mean, there's definitely like the scenes are definitely growing in other parts of the country and parts of the world, but I think people are still always kind of looking to New York and obviously even LA for like influence and the different things that they do. You know, one trend that I really got was, I think people were really surprised actually because, you know, they hadn't been to bread and butter in a while, or they heard. And I mean, I think in the past couple of years, there's been like some really, really good brands coming out of like the US. And so I think it was like really refreshing to them. A lot of buyers are saying that in the past couple of years, bread and butter had been like kind of stale and like repetitive. And that like this past season was like really exciting for them because they really got to see a lot of good brands come to the US, where for a while it was like just the same thing. I just think that this market around this time, it's like Projects kind of has a monopoly on it, and there's really like brands like ours and like other brands that show there's really no representation here. And like when Project or Pool tried to do that, it kind of just got lost. So I think having, you know, a show where smaller brands or up-and-coming brands can have a showcase and really in a fun environment, like a really awesome like, you know, venue like this, I think it definitely is like is a good show. I feel like everyone's kind of going from graphic tees to like more cut and sew pieces, things, you know, a lot of us are moving our production overseas, which is allowing us to do more pieces like tops and jackets and, you know, denim and bags and things like that. So that's kind of what we've been working on a lot, is just trying to like take our aesthetic, take our like color palette, but then translate it into, you know, other things besides T-shirts, which is a challenge for us because it's not really our background, but it's something exciting. You know, we're kind of doing a lot more for the next season too, like kind of like more like this heavy metal shirts, like a lot of like, you know, where there's just like print everywhere, and you know, a lot of even like the bootleg shirts that they used to sell in like concert parking lots, where it's just like, you know, print all over the place, and maybe like the quality like was a little off, but it was like still cool, you know. It's like a lot of we've always been inspired by like bootleg art, you know, like kind of this stuff that's like kind of thrown together real quick just to kind of make a quick buck. And so we do a kind of like, that's kind of like, but I just really like that aesthetic. This is one of our holiday caps. It's called Keep Watch, and it's got the, you know, it's eyeball glows in the dark, and the brim has like a little face, and then we just have the logo on the back. So again, something, you know, it's within our color palette. It's like this seafoam and magenta that we've been using for a number of years now, and like, you know, again, it's just like trying to do pieces that are, you know, you could wear these with a nice pair of denim and like a, you know, maybe a solid T-shirt, or you could wear it like crazy with like a ton of different colors. You know, it's a custom piece where, you know, it's like a custom body and stuff, but it still has like a crazy like print on it. It's just like Japanese like ripstop nylon. It's pretty simple, pretty functional. We definitely try to like appeal to different, like try to be like a crossover brand, not just be like urban, because, you know, we're not super, you know, we're like old hardcore kids and like punk rock kids and like heavy metal kids. So it's like the things that we like, we definitely like a lot of like wild colors and stuff, but then sometimes it's like nice to just kind of be able to like dress down, and that comes a little bit of flavor and stuff.
Cut like a guillotine.